So Nintendo just decides to completely surprise everybody and do a full Nintendo Direct, not a partner showcase, not a mini, not an indie, but a full Nintendo Direct 1 week prior to the Nintendo Direct that's already scheduled for the Nintendo Switch 2. I already had planned to do some kind of fun video on the 28th of March, which is today, the time of recording this. And fortunately, they just dropped a Nintendo Direct right here for me to do. So this is what the podcast is going to be for the day. Next week will be the Nintendo Switch 2 video. That is going to be the 10th episode, and that will also be my first live reaction. So it's not going to be just a post recording discussion. It's going to actually be I'm going to watch it while I record, and what I'm talking and saying is how I'm feeling in the moment. So it'll be kind of fun to capture. But just to go ahead and kick it off here with the Nintendo Direct, they opened up with the Dragon Quest 1 and 2 HD 2D remake, which we already knew about, so I was kind of a little disappointed that they opened with that. Um, Going into this Direct, though, I really did not expect much. I was not expecting too much from them because it's like, there were rumors circulating that, okay, Metroid Prime 4 is not going to be in the Switch 2 Direct. And it's like, okay, well, that's obviously going to be the main thing of this. Um, just to let you know, I was not expecting too much from this Direct. But they started with the Dragon Quest, which is exciting. I'm glad that that was on there. Like I said before in another video, I'm trying to get into Dragon Quest. I'm trying to get into JRPGs. I bought the third one and played it for a while, and it was fun. Yeah, I'm gonna have to try it again. I'm gonna have to completely restart, maybe watch a couple videos on it, and just try to get back into it. It's beautiful. I love the art style. I love everything about it. But once again, it's just hard for me. There's just so many mechanics and there's different things to do. And like, I start off doing fine, but then I just start dying. And I'm dying again and again and again. And I'm just like, am I doing this wrong? Is everybody else dying like this? This is my first Dragon Quest game, so, bear with me. But I love these games. I think they look absolutely gorgeous. I want to keep playing them. But I don't know. I'll have to give it a shot. I'll probably watch a couple videos, and when I decide to sit down and actually full on immerse myself in it. Just for your information, at the moment I'm currently playing Xenoblade Chronicles X, and I am actually enjoying that. Surprisingly, I have not really jumped fully into a Xenoblade game before, but X just was released, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna give this a shot. This looks really really cool. Um, so that's what I'm doing now. But anyway, they showed also No Sleep for Kaname Date, which looked fairly interesting. I don't really know too much about that. Yeah, it looks all right. There's gonna be a lot of stuff in this video, or that this video, from this Nintendo Direct video that I don't quite either understand or really know what's going on. Next up, they showed radio something. I don't know. That looked all right and interesting as well. I don't really have an opinion on it. I won't probably be touching it. But yeah, there it is. Next up was Shadow Labyrinth. Now, this was kind of interesting. When I was watching it, I was kind of like, okay, that looks like a little Pac-Man with you. And then I saw the Bandai Namco Entertainment developer title, and I was like, oh, that is a Pac-Man. They're doing like a thing on this. Immediately I thought of, are there gonna be ghosts in this? Like Pac-Man ghosts? Like, are those gonna be really creepy and scary? Or like, are they gonna do a twist on those characters as well? It looked interesting enough. That looks like a multi-plat, so that probably for me would be a Steam buy. Just because that looks like it'd be really nice on the deck. I'm not sure how that's gonna run on the Switch or the Switch 2. Um, but it looked like a fun little Metroidvania thing, maybe. I don't know if it's Metroidvania or not, but overall, look kind of cool, interesting idea. I definitely probably wait for reviews to see how that's received and how good that is. Up next, I was very excited to see Patapon. So I had the first Patapon. I never played Patapon 2, but I had the first one on the PSP. So Patapon 1 plus 2 replay looks amazing. That is definitely a buy for me. While I was watching the trailer, I was like, dude, shadow drop. Make this a shadow drop. I'll buy this immediately. Unfortunately, it's coming out in July, probably because it's getting a normal physical release as well as a digital release. I'm kind of hoping this is like a $40, $50 price point. But who knows? Knowing Nintendo and knowing Sony, it'll probably be a full $60. It looks great though. It looks right at home on the Switch. I am glad that they are going to allow you to change like difficulty settings and stuff like that. I don't remember Patapon being super hard, but that's always nice for new players, especially kids, if they want to just mess around on the game, that's always fun. That comes out July 11th, so I will definitely be picking that one up. That is the first must buy for me. After that, let's see, we had Story of Seasons, and once again, I was like, okay. Apparently, they said something in there about this one being like a DS title, the Grand Bazaar. I don't really know, but I mean, it looks okay. It's fine. It looks really super cute, and that's about what I expect from those farming simulation games. Uh, the big one though, the big one for the presentation was the Metroid Prime 4. That looks great. Very excited for this game. I already was super excited. This looks gorgeous. They kind of showed most of what I'm assuming is kind of like the intro or not the intro world. Sorry, like the hub world kind of thing. Um, which I love, like the jungle vibes. Like that's such a cool. Like I was getting kind of like Predator vibes here. Like, oh, you're gonna be walking around the jungle. Things are gonna be camouflaged into the walls and jumping out at you. So it's gonna be like kind of jungle and scary and stuff like that. The palm trees were giving me kind of like a Donkey Kong vibe too, which is funny because this is coming from Retro Studios. Um, and so, I mean, if they know anything about the jungle aesthetic, it'd be retro, right? It looks great though. Watching like the scanning and all of that stuff. Just oh man, I can't wait. I have been waiting for this game ever since they released the remastered game, and I can't believe it's finally coming out. Super excited. It is kind of funny. I thought about this. They announced this at the first Nintendo Direct, which was E3 2017. I don't count that live presentation as a direct because it wasn't pre-recorded. It was just a live event. But at the very first Nintendo Switch Direct at E3, they announced this game, and then this is arguably the last Nintendo Switch Direct dedicated only to the first console. And it's finally being shown off here as well. So it's kind of funny, like the entire generation we've been waiting for this. Um, I'm 50-50 on the psychic abilities. Those look like they could be really cool. I'm just kind of concerned. I don't know. Anytime they have like psychic abilities like that or like detective mode, I'm just worried that it's like, okay, take this glowing thing and touch it to that glowing thing. It's like, that's not really psychic. That's just, you're just telling me what to sort of do. I'm not saying that that's what Retro's doing here, but I'm always worried whenever I see those types of mechanics where it's like, you know, like in Arkham, like the Batman Arkham games, it's like, oh, where do I go? Just turn on detective mode. It's like, oh, there's a grate over there that's highlighted. I'll go cut that out and I'll go in there. That's where I'm supposed to go. It's like, yeah, it's not. It just kind of tells you what to do, right? Just default. Here you go. Um, but I mean, the presentation of this game looks absolutely beautiful. There's a great chance that this will be the best looking game on the original Switch hardware. Um, my biggest complaint about this direct, as well as with Metroid Prime 4 and most of the things announced here, was that there are no solid release dates still. It says 2025. Why don't we know? Like, just tell us this. I'm sure this will come up a few more times, but it's like most of the major games that they announced here were just vague dates or years, and you're just kind of like, all right, I'm assuming maybe they'll say more in the next one. Or are they still developing? Metroid Prime 4, I don't know, but hopefully, hopefully we can get some dates pretty soon because you know, I'm ready. Next up though was Disney Villains Cursed Cafe. I don't no thanks. I'm not into that. The next one, however, though, which was Witchbrook, that looks awesome. That looks really, really cool. That caught my eye immediately when I was looking at it. I was like, "What is this?" Um, it does kind of look like a life sim kind of game. It's from Chucklefish, which I've heard of them before. They seem to be a popular developer. I've heard their name a few times. So someone out there's loving them. But it looks really cute. It looks really cute and cozy. This looks like something I definitely would want to check out. Um, I'm not sure if I'd play it on the Switch or if it's on Steam Deck, maybe I'd play it on there. It just depends, but it does. I love the art style. It's super cozy. I'm all about it. Next up was Eternal Life of Goldman. Um, I like the animation kind of style. It looks really kind of cool. Once again, I can't tell if this is like just a 2D side scroller or a full on like Metroidvania. Um, Looked all right, you know. I'm not sure if I'll actually check it out or not, but then we had Gradius Origins, which is a whole collection of like old like shoot 'em up stuff like that. If you love shoot 'em ups, this looks like classic good stuff, including a brand new game, which I always love when they do that. When it's like, here's a whole collection of these old games you love, plus a new one made in that kind of style, and got that same aesthetic. So it's like, great, cool for those folks. Good on you. Then they had Rift of the Necro Dancer, which I've never played either of their prior two games, the one that was exclusive to Switch, or I think just Crypt of the Necro Dancer was the other one. Because the other one was like something of Hyrule, right? Jade of Hyrule? I don't remember. It's been so long since that came out. Kind of just makes me want to play Guitar Hero again. I don't know. Looks okay. Looks like it could be kind of fun. What are you going to do? After that was the Tomagachi Plaza. I have no opinions on that really whatsoever. Looks cute, looks fun. I'll probably skip it. Then they moved on to Pokemon Legends ZA, which the first time I saw it, I was kind of like, okay, this is looking fine. I want to see more though, right? I've got some concerns. I can confidently say that a lot of those concerns were kind of squashed in this trailer and in this presentation. I love the wild areas that you can go into and like catch and battle wild Pokemon, because that was my major thing. Is it's like, well, where in a city are you going to just battle random Pokemon, catch random Pokemon? So that was really, really cool. I was like, awesome. It's like you go to the parks and they're just open air parks where they've got all these wild Pokemon that you can encounter in the middle of the city. If this is running on Switch hardware too, it looks to be running pretty well. Now, I don't know if they're showing us this stuff running on Switch 2 or if this is Switch 1 hardware, but this looks fine. This is looking good, man. I'm liking the style. I'm liking the aesthetic. I love that it's so different than the first game, because that's one thing that I think that could be a problem, is if every single Legends game is just going to be like the old ancient style of the city. The nighttime battle thing looks okay. I'm not a big hardcore Pokemon battle guy, I love Pokemon for the world and for catching them and collecting them. The whole competitive side of Pokemon isn't really my thing, so I'm glad this is here, but I don't know if this is going to be like optional, or do you have to like get to a certain level and do X, Y, and Z in order to, well, pun intended, to like get to the next story beat. Is this optional or do you have to do this? I don't know. I'm gonna give it a shot. They're all NPCs. I'm assuming they may have like an online mode, but it looks kind of cool. Overall, much more excited and optimistic about the game since the first time they showed it. I wouldn't say I was down on it, but now I'm definitely more confident in it. It looks great. I'm definitely gonna check that out day one. Up next, shockingly enough, was Rhythm Heaven. I have never played a Rhythm Heaven game. I When I was super into the 3DS, I never bought it. I'd see it on the store shelves, but I don't know, the idea of playing a rhythm game on a handheld console just never really appealed to me. I'd rather have it presented beautifully on the TV and kinda, like, maybe be playing it with other people or, like, pass the controller around and just kinda, like, laughing and having fun. So this looks like that experience. This looks great. It looks really cute. It looks really fun. My wife even said she wants to play it, so this will probably be something that we will play together, which, like I said, is pretty rare for us, but this looks like the perfect fun game. I'm digging the aesthetic and the style. From what I've seen from people's reactions to this direct, the original songwriter has returned for this game, which I think was a major concern moving forward in the franchise. But apparently, that person, whoever that is back, which everyone's excited for, which is great for me. Because I would be concerned that they'd say, "Well, we're gonna finally give you a new Rhythm Heaven, but it's gonna be a new songwriter." And then everyone's like, "Ah, the new songs aren't as good as the old ones. It's some new guy. It's not as good. We get the old guy back." So it's glad it's the original songwriter, looking great, awesome art style, fun as always, and that's a definite buy. Unfortunately, it comes out in 2026. That's the biggest problem with that game. Is it's like, ugh, 2026. Like this has been a great summer title, you know? It's like, "Hey, it's coming out in June." Sweet. But no, it's coming out in, like, 17 months. So it's like, Okay, that's fine." Then next, they had a very interesting discussion about virtual game cards. I love slash am skeptical of this. I love the idea of the direction that this is going, that you can share these games with other people. However, there are some caveats to this. This is not an easy, "Oh, here you go. We're going to make this easy on you," kind of thing. It's like, well, first of all, you've got to be in your Nintendo family, which I don't know what that means. Like, does that mean that I'm assuming then you need a Nintendo Switch Online account, and then not only that, do you need a Nintendo Switch family account, and those people need to be on that family account? Meaning, in order to share these games, I need to spend a minimum of $35 a year? If that's the case, then this will probably never be something that I do. But if this is a thing where it's like, "Oh, you can just share with your friends as long as you're standing next to them," then great. Um, there's a little bit more information that I'm not quite clear on because they say anybody in your Nintendo Switch family, and it's like, yeah, what does that mean? That's the part that I feel like because everyone's like, "Oh, sweet, I could share digital games," and it's like, nah, I don't think it's quite that easy. First of all, you got to be sitting right next to them, which is a bummer. Um, it would be much cooler. Like for instance, I live in Japan, and my buddies they all live in in the United States. It'd be really cool if I could be like, "Dude, I've been playing this game. It's fantastic. I'm gonna send it to you." And then on my Switch, I could just say, "Send this game to like this guy," and then it could just bring. You've got a game from Logan. He wants you to try this. Be like, "Oh, cool. Let's try it." Um, that would be great. That may be the direction they eventually go, but right now it just yeah, see, family group up to 8 Nintendo people. So yeah, so I think you've gotta have that $35 subscription in order to use this service. Yeah, lend it to a family member. Yeah, I think everyone's jumping and getting excited about this. This is great for you if you've already got a family account, but all my friends and a lot of people that I know have a Switch. Out of those people, I only know one person that has Switch Online, and it's the base account, and then I'm the only person that I know that has the full-blown, N64 Game Boy Advanced subscription, uh, the expansion pack. So, I don't even know anybody that has the family account. So, that it seems like it's a great I love it. It's great. I just wish they'd open it up to maybe a little bit more people. Like, just allow anybody, regardless of Nintendo Switch, subscription service to do this. That would be fantastic. Um, but anyway, then they moved on to a quick little reel of a bunch of stuff that they got. The main thing that jumped out at me was they showed oh, man. They showed Fantasy Life, and that's probably the one in this whole set that I was most excited to see. We've already seen a lot of that from the Fantasy Life from level 5, but that looked the frame rate was just tanking on that thing. It was not looking good, and I have these concerns that level 5 is not prioritizing the Switch anymore. They've switched to, they've switched to prioritizing Steam and PlayStation and other, publishers. Um, I mean, we already know that Fantasy Life is no longer getting a release physically in the West, and I think it's because they know it's like, this runs terribly on the Switch. I mean, there's a section where he's, like, fighting a dragon or doing something, and it's, like, 15 frames a second, and it's like, I don't require super, super smooth frame rate on my games, but man, oh man, it's looking like the Switch version of that is gonna be the worst, which is unfortunate because everybody loved Fantasy Life on the 3DS. Next up, we had, what was that, Saga Frontier 2? Really pretty art style. I love games that have that kind of hand-drawn aesthetic. I really like that a lot. I definitely think that's pretty cool and interesting. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see what happens. Next up, they had the Monument Valley 1 and 2, plus the announcement of Monument Valley 3 coming. These look like interesting kind of games. They've got like an MC Escher kind of vibe. I don't know anything about them. I'm assuming that they've been released on Steam for a few years now. Like I said, I know nothing about them. They look cool though. I like the art style, but beyond that, I really don't. I don't have anything else. After that, they've got Everybody's Golf Hot Shots. I've seen a lot of people getting excited about this online because I guess this is apparently a PlayStation title or something that usually is exclusive to another platform, and everyone's like, "Whoa, what's this doing on a Nintendo, you know, uh, console?" And it's like, well, it seems to be the trend right now is to put your games on other platforms to entice them to your platform. And to be honest with you, and this is gonna be a kind of a slight um, tangent here. I'm gonna go on, but that worked with me with the Steam Deck. You know, uh, they had announced the Portal companion pack collection for the Switch. I bought that day one when that came out digitally on the Switch, and I played both those games to completion. And I was like, you know what? I want to play more Steam games handheld. How much is a Steam Deck? And I got a Steam Deck. And it's been fantastic. I've been loving it. So I can kind of tell that other people are trying their hand at this too. Like, hey, maybe if we put our PlayStation stuff on Switch, maybe, although PlayStation's selling better than Switch, isn't it right now? I don't know. Who knows? But anyway, Everybody's Golf, Hot Shots, looks cute, looks fun. I'll probably pass though. Doesn't seem like my kind of thing. Up next, Marvel Comic Invasion. This actually might be one I check out. I probably will buy this on Steam, and I'll probably will wait for a Steam sale to buy this, but I loved Shredder's Revenge, and this just looks like a Marvel version of that. Glad Wolverine's in there. He is my favorite because I am Logan. This is definitely something I'm going to check out. It looks super, super fun. When I go back into town, this will probably be something I'd boot up and play with some friends on a big TV and just, have some fun and enjoy ourselves. Looks great. I'd like to see some more footage of it. Let me see here. When did they announce that this was going to be coming out? I don't think that they did. Once again, they don't announce when any of this stuff is coming out permanently. Oh, sorry. It says holiday 2025. So once again, it's still kind of vague. That'll probably be a November or maybe even October release. But then after that was the big one. I know the one that a lot of people would probably be super excited for, which was Tamagotchi Life, Living the Dream. It's making a return. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, there's only one Tamagotchi Life game. Not Tamagotchi Life, Tamagotchi Life. Tomodachi Life. Sorry, I'm getting my titles mixed up here on this list. The only one that I'm aware of is the 3DS game, which I've I own that game, but I've never played it because I bought that at the time when everything was coming out of the 3DS, and I just had so much to play that it just kinda, I had to take a back seat. But this looks great. This is a day one purchase for me. I love the setting. It's like a tropical beach town, with all your characters doing a bunch of fun, crazy stuff. I like that gag at the end of the trailer when the giant girl runs up to the little girl. And you're like, what is this? It looks kind of wild and crazy. Once again, though, 2026. It's like, I don't know, these vague dates are unfortunate. This would have been a great game to like drop between the Switch and the Switch 2, I feel like. I don't know, I feel like when the Switch 2 comes out, this is just gonna get buried, This is gonna be like some of those 3DS games that came out after the Switch, and it's just like everyone's just gonna forget about them and just be like, yeah, whatever." I mean, the backwards compatibility does help, but at the same time, I don't know, I don't know. We'll see. It's definitely a buy for me. I will be there day one, picking it up, playing it, laughing, having some fun because I've always wanted to try this series, and I'm glad it's finally coming to the Switch. I know that's something that people they've been asking for a while. But then they scared me. I got a little spooked when I saw this because they're like, "Oh, that's our last game," and it's like, okay, I figured that was the end of the presentation. Well, it's not. They're like, "Well, we have one non-game thing, and Shigeru Miyamoto's going to talk about it." And they started talking about Nintendo Directs, and I'm like, "Oh, no. They're not gonna get rid of the Directs, are they?" And thankfully, no, but they are going to give us a new application, and the application is called Nintendo Today. This is both good and bad from my perspective. This is the second application that they've given us in a year, and I can't help but feeling like Nintendo wants to just do a bunch of app stuff. Let me think here. The best way I could probably put this is that this is part of that lifestyle Nintendo stuff that I was talking about a couple episodes ago in the podcast. I love Nintendo's efforts to like do kind of more lifestyle stuff. Um, However, they always seem to do it in kind of a weird way. They can't quite seem to just give you the normal stuff. Here's what I would do if I were Nintendo, because right now, let me, because I've downloaded the actual game here, but I have a folder on my phone that is just full of Nintendo apps. So I downloaded Nintendo Today, I have Nintendo Switch Online, and I have Nintendo Music now, and then there's also Nintendo Switch parental controls. So there's 4 applications that are your kind of your main just Nintendo only applications. Nintendo, you got to combine that into one app, Just say we're just going to make one app and just call it like Nintendo or Nintendo Home or, home-based Nintendo or something. And then in that application, you've got at the bottom, you'll have your little calendar, which is Nintendo Today. You'll have a little music thing for your Nintendo Music. You'd have a little Switch thing for your Switch settings and parental controls. You can just put all that stuff in one app. We've got 4 apps now. It's like just for Nintendo, and it's like you've got more apps than you have consoles. I wish we could just sort of consolidate this all into one thing. Um, and then even just say, hey, if we want to make additions to that app, we'll just add an update. So it's like, oh, we want to add, this. Okay, that'll be a new bing. That'll be a new thing at the bottom. But it's like every time they have an idea, they just want to make a new app for it. And it's kind of like, oh, that's a bummer. Because I want to use this stuff. I mean, very excitingly, they said, you know, the Nintendo Switch 2 announcement's coming next week. After that, every single day on Nintendo Today, we are going to be giving you updates on the console. Like new information is going to come out every single day, which reminds me a whole lot of what they did with Super Smash Brothers Brawl, right? With was it the Fighter Dojo or the Smash Dojo or whatever they called that back in the day? Can't remember, man. That was 2008. That was 2008. That's forever ago. I can't remember that. But it reminds me of that, where it's like every day they're going to give you little pieces of information, and some of it's going to be tiny, insignificant, and I feel like some of it's going to actually be pretty big. So I'm excited. I downloaded it. I'm going to definitely check it every single day. I'm so happy too because on the version that I have, they actually offered widgets. So I just put a little widget on the second screen of my phone. So I've got a little Nintendo calendar, and then it's going to keep telling me, hey, this is what's new for the day, and this is what's new for the day. And obviously, the first one, they're talking about this Nintendo Direct. Really cool idea. I love the lifestyle way you're doing this, but I just kind of hope that one day someone at Nintendo may go, hey, why don't we just make one app that does all the stuff we want it to do so that way when you're in the app, you can do everything. Cause it's like, I don't know. It's just, I don't know. It just doesn't feel that convenient, but I don't know. We'll see. Overall, the Nintendo Direct was really nice. It was really good. It still left me wanting more. Um, Primarily because we had no release dates and we had no crazy first party shadow drops. I was initially disappointed because I was really really hoping we were just going to get, either just a straight port or a remake shadow drop of Metroid Prime 2 and 3. I loved the first one, the remastered one that they gave us for the Switch. I really want 2 and 3. I'm sure the story's not that important to play for, but just something to hold me over until Prime 4 comes out would be great. So when they didn't give us that, it's like, okay, that's obviously not going to happen, right? They're not going to give us those games too close to Prime 4. And like I said, the fact that there's not even a release date for Prime 4, it's just still 2025. That either tells me that they're still working on it, which means that it might get delayed. It may get delayed in 2026. I mean, they've already got Tomodachi Life and Rhythm Heaven coming out in 2026, so it's not like it would be that wild. Or they're just holding off because they're like, we're going to show you all the dates of everything next week with the Switch 2 announcement. That's what we're going to tell you, all of that stuff. Yeah, they probably just don't want us speculating as to the date of the Switch 2, right? They probably don't want us being like, well, if Metroid's coming out then that gives away when they're going to release the Switch 2. But also, this unrelated to the Nintendo Direct, I did see this morning that apparently Best Buy has leaked the pre-order date for the Switch 2, which is the same day as the Direct. And they said that pre-orders will begin on the 2nd of April, and they will release late 2025. So we could be back to that crazy Christmas rush. I hope that's not the case, but we will see. I am going home for Christmas this year, finally, to see my family. I haven't been home in a long, long time. So if that's the case, I probably will just pre-order Switch 2, get everything sent to my parents' house, and then when I come home for Christmas, boom, it'll be right there, which would be fantastic, and that'd make for a very magical Christmas. But that'll about do it for me for today. I'm going to kind of save my energy for next week because that is going to be a long episode. That's probably going to be the longest episode I've done up to this point. I'll probably give you about 5 to 10 minutes of just pre-chatter before the presentation begins, and then I'll react live, and then I'll give a little bit of immediate post thoughts, and we'll take it from there. I am so excited for the next one. This one was great. Some fun stuff in here, but it did not even quench the thirst that I have for the Direct next week. So I will see you all then. Take care of yourselves and stop by whenever you're feeling lonely.